WWE, it took them 7 years, 8 years to have a Evolution show. I look forward to reviewing this show. This is a Big Pop Theory podcast, and I look forward to talking about this. I look forward to talking about this with my co-host here. We did Saturday Night Main Event with it was me and Mark Wins, but tonight it is me and Rich Kings. I look forward to talking about this show. This is the Big Pop Theory podcast. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Rich Kings, I know you wanted to be on for the Saturday Night Main Event show, and I will still ask you how did you feel about that show. But Rich Kings, we're talking about women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is phenomenal. But Rich Kings, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. We had, I want to say, 7 matches, 8 matches. Um, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts about all these matches here. But I'm well. I'm doing very, very well. I did a recording with Ron Shea Sawyer for the audio podcast, and then did another one for the Unpopular Review show for Geek News. And so this is my third show of the night or day, and I look forward to talking about this thing. So just to jump into it right here, about Evolution. This is the second show of 7, 8 years. But how did you feel about Evolution tonight, Rich
I
King?
felt no, I felt like it was a really good show. I think the women put on a very really great performance. From the first match to the last match, I think it was really good. And there was a lot of talking about the build up and the selling out and things in that nature of the crowd, but I couldn't tell. I mean, it seemed like everybody was hyped that was inside the building. I think they really delivered. I can't wait to review it.
I do want to touch on that a little bit because I loved what you said. You talked about the build. I do think the build was terrible. I think the build could have been a lot better. I feel like there was so much going on this weekend when you have Great American Bash and you have Saturday Night Main Event, and then you have Evolution. And I feel like a lot of these women they deserved a lot more for that. But I feel like here's the thing, and this was something that I personally felt. I felt like these women were going to go out there and they were going to deliver, and they did do that. And I think these women kicked ass, and I love that for the women. The opening match, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Just give us a sec here, but like that crowd, they took that in, and I love that they took that in. But I did want to hear your thoughts a little bit about Saturday Night Main Event. I know you wanted to join us last night for Saturday Night Main Event, but there was 4 matches, and if you want to do a quick review of thoughts about the show, please take the floor here, sir.
Yeah, it was okay. It was solid. I think that to me, obviously, this to me was way better. Look, and if you want to compare both shows, but I think like from top to bottom, it was okay. It wasn't nothing spectacular. Just like I'm not a big Goldberg fan, so I could care less about his farewell match and things of that nature, and all the hurrah and all the other stuff. I mean, I'll say my opinions about a farewell match later on, but it was just okay. It was like, you know what? And I think if they were to do it again, I'm not too sure if they want to have someone like Seth Rollins go against Sunday night, because I think they kind of ruined their plans for the future here. When you think about if his knee is really messed up or leg, whatever the situation is. But I just don't. I think it was a more of a throwaway pay per view. I don't think it was something that had a lasting impression, and I don't understand. Like I get why we did it, but it just wasn't all that good.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a televised house show, and I hear what you're saying about that. It's very unfortunate with the the stuff with Seth Rollins and speedy recovery to the gentleman. Um, it's a move that he does a lot. Like he's done that move plenty of times, and we did an audio review about Saturday Night Main Event, and there's a live review about it also too here on YouTube. So please check it out if you are interested in that. But he it's a move that he's done plenty of times, and it's very unfortunate. Do you think? Let me ask you this here. Do you think that mess up plans uh, moving forward? But if I don't know the severity of his injury, it might be a sprain. He might be able to recover in a few weeks, right? But let's say we don't. I don't know what it is, but it might be devastating. Do you think that ruined plans moving forward if he's very very
Yeah.
hurt?
Well, I want to be all right. So I don't want to play doctor, right? I don't know how bad he's
Sure.
out for,
Hmm.
but the second time, for the second part, I will say that I want to take ruin the plans. I think we'll have to adjust the plans, right? And I think they can
Okay.
be agile. I'm pretty sure the writers have a plan A, plan B, a plan C. Not to have that would be a dereliction of duty as a writer, right? You have to have a backup plan. So I think maybe their primary plan was scrapped, but how do you get creative and come up with a different plan? So I really think that a backup plan was already on the table prior before this injury, and they could pivot into this direction regardless. So I'm not too worried about the future, so to speak. But like I said, I do think that they have to have a backup plan.
If I can ask you, I know this is putting you on the spot here, but if you had like you was in charge and you had the pencil and all the stuff about it, do you have a backup plan? Like, what would be your backup plan?
Well, depending on how it would have booked Seth, right? So if, I'm not sure if he was cashing in at Survivor Series. I think not Survivor Series, SummerSlam. I think a lot of people probably
Hmm.
assume this is the spot Roman Reigns comes back, right? So who does he come back and take out? Like, what does that do for the story, and what does that leave with Gunther and that other piece, right? So I do think that the thing is that Seth was feuding with everybody, so
He was, yeah.
it's like it's a game of musical chairs. So who's left without a seat now, right? So because he was really like he was everywhere. So when someone is everywhere, you're gonna have to like kind of pick up the pieces. So I see they got this match on Raw, this 5-way match coming up. So I think that's
How
gonna
fast the
help
match
play
go?
the hand coming up in Survivor Series, obviously. But I just think that at the end of the day, with a talent like Seth, it's going
Hmm.
to be a blow regardless because he's everywhere. And he's regardless if he's not on WWE TV, he's promoting the brand on football, ESPN, somewhere else. Like he's valuable. So I do think that what do you do in Roman Reigns next? I don't know. Maybe hold him out for Survivor Series. Maybe he does come back and he goes for Gunther. Who knows? Because we haven't seen that yet, right? So we'll see what happens next.
We will see what happened next. And I do like your take on this because you're like, hey, let's see what happens. I mean, not even let's see what happens. Let's see how severe this injury is because we don't know. Maybe it's the spring and it's maybe something in like a week or 2 weeks. I'm saying a week, but maybe 2 weeks. He recovers and he goes with because I do see him cashing. Look, sometimes I think I know everything about wrestling. I had, and we're going to talk about it later. Trust me, we'll get there. I had Naomi cashing in at SummerSlam. I'm clearly wrong by that. I'm clearly wrong by that by like a whole month. We'll talk about it, but like, let's talk about this pay per view as evolution. Um, they were out there in the State Farm Arena, out there in Atlanta, Georgia. You're out there. I know you was like, man, I would have gone out there, but you didn't. You was like, I just wanted to go out with, like, if we go out there, you want to have some company out there, and I feel you. Um, this pay per view was a fun pay per view. I'm glad that these women went out there. Like I said, the the um the promotion for this was shit. I'm sorry, it was crap. But these women went out there and it was like, yo, we're gonna prove you. We're gonna prove something, and I hope that it is not another 7, 8 years that these women go out there and they have a pay per view to themselves because these women, as much as you hear stuff about like women's wrestling and people, oh, I'm not a fan of it or they don't draw all this stuff, but I love women's wrestling and the growth of women's wrestling is phenomenal. So we talked about a project, right? About us, me and you, and another individual, and we're like, man, we're gonna review this and this and this and this. But when I was looking up this pay per view, right? I feel like we could say pay per view. Um, they had a bra and panties match. That's a match that has not been a thing, and I don't know. It's been for many, many years, and it's great because a lot of these women can go out there and they can kick ass, and a lot of these women can have better matches than men. Matter of fact, when the show started, I'm gonna give it a shout out to one Mark Wins. He did the Saturday Night Main Event with me. He cut out, but like when the show started, We had Joe Tessam. I can't pronounce his last name for to save my life, but Joe, he was out there. But then Stephanie McMahon came out, and I immediately said, "Yo, that's Rich King's girl right there." Like you, when Stephanie McMahon, you was for me, right? Like I think of you. You was always the biggest fan of Stephanie McMahon. Um, and she came out there and she said some things. But like, how did you feel about seeing when Stephanie McMahon come out there? I thought it was going to be a commentary thing, but it was just really more of like her thoughts about things.
Yeah, I think like when you think about the sort of the women's revolution, it just makes sense that she will come out for the evolution part two, right? So like when she think about that promo she shot many, many, many years ago, which came out raw, so we're changing it up, and she was right. I mean, she stood on her ground. She stood 10 toes deep about like what her vision was, and it was an accurate vision, and it just changed professional women's wrestling for the rest of WWE and AEW and TNA and so on and so forth, right? So you think, and NXT. So when you think about how her coming out there for the second version of Evolution, it meant a lot. Like I feel like this is her vision, and she's watching. Not want to say her baby because she's not like knee deep how Triple H and Shawn Michaels is, but I think she still has some kind of idea like of what she wants to see, and to see her come out, I think is great.
No, it was great. I mean, I feel like we all love Stephanie. Stephanie, I'll be honest with you, bro. Like when we were kids, and I know you was a big fan of Stephanie, but like the stuff that she did as a, once again, we're kids, right? And the stuff, and we're talking about the character work. It was like, yo, like I'll be like, yo, she's kind of not of a nice person, but you end up seeing like, yo, she's actually not a, she's a really decent human being. Like, to the point where sometimes she plays here, I'm like, okay, you're just saying these things because. But shout out to see Stephanie McMahon come out there. But the first match of the night here, and I would love to hear your thoughts about this. We have it's a triple threat. I'm trying to see. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we had the picture here. We had this as a triple threat. We had Becky Lynch defending her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I'm gonna give you the floor here first, sir. What did you think about this match?
Well, you know how I feel about beginning of the show. You do not want to miss the beginning of the show. How you remind fans that it's so critical that you are at the beginning of the show is putting on a banger, and they just set the tone for the whole entire night. It was a great. I mean, honestly, it was an amazing start. Like if you showed up late, you just missed too much. It's shame on you for showing late to that. But it was just like so many different moves, the offense, the creativity, the pace of the match, everything was just a solid A plus. It was just great flow. I honestly, and to your point, we were talking earlier, like sometimes wrestling can be so predictable, right?
Hmm.
And you have an idea of who's going to win the match before the match even starts. But during the match, you could kind of see how it plays based off of how the moves are going and the momentum. And the momentum was all over the place. And I felt like at any given moment, any of the three could have won that match. And the way how Becky won with that creative, that pin, I haven't seen that ever. like I think I've been watching.
Whoa.
I think I've been watching wrestling for a little bit of a long time, and how she did that so crafty, it was just like, okay, this is chef's kiss. It didn't end on like a finishing move. It didn't end on a submission. It didn't end with an interference, and it ended on something that to be continued. And it was a perfect to be continued for a match of that kind of caliber. I just felt it was an A plus. Great way to start off the show. Great. I mean, the Beck's floor that she hit, like I was like, yeah, it's over. Like I don't know how like they were kicking out of some moves and they were coming to save the match. And like one thing I do like is that they protected certain finishers, right? I know me and you talked about this before about protecting finishers. So when they hit this move, the other person was knocking the other person out. Now, I'm gonna share my gripe about someone not protecting the finisher later on in the match, or later on in the night. But I think that it was just the best way to start off the match. 10 stars.
Bro, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, you really said some real shit, my guy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this was a great way to open the show. I love, you know what? And not for nothing, these women really work their asses off. But I do want to sit here and throw out at the same time that it really, I love that the crowd was with it. Because, like, even before they touched, that crowd was really feeling. Like, I feel like when it comes to the crowd, like that, I'm not to say like it always, because look, sometimes the crowd, they don't even realize that magic is happening in front of them. That's the truth. But like the crowd really helped out a lot with this, and like I agree with you completely. And I want to say here and say, because I would love for her to be on here, but I want to shout out to my co-host. She is phenomenal. She is great. One, Shay Sawyer, she said she completely agreed with everything you said, where the stuff that you said, because I mean, when it comes to vernacular, you're better at it than me. She also said that's how you open a show, and she also, if I can, yeah, Bayley win the IC title soon. I can feel it. Um, do you feel that too? Do you feel like she might be potential? Because I feel like Lyra Valkyria. I mean, I'm not saying Shay is wrong, but I feel that way. But how do you feel, sir?
I definitely see it for Bailey, and I think you know, I'm not big, you know, I'm big on chemistry in the match, right? This is the best I've seen Bailey in a while. Like transparently, like she like not saying she's a slouch in the ring, but there are certain people that you raise the bar with, and I think with these two wrestlers that she did, yeah, she got it, and I do think that she will win that belt soon. Like let's let's see what we could do with it a little bit everybody else, but the momentum I think is in her corner for her to win.
Okay, fair enough. But I do agree with what you're saying. I did love that finish. That finish was so, we can cuss here, right? But like it's so freaking good. Like I loved how Becky came out. It was almost like she found a way to win, and I thought that was so dope for her. It was just so creative. Like Bailey, I forget what she did. I think she hit her move or whatever, right? And then
Hmm.
like Becky found a way to hit like this not sunset. It was a roll up. It's another word for it. So forgive me that I don't have the vernacular for it. But like I just thought it was so dope, and I thought it was so cool, and I was just like, this man, all these women really bust their ass here. When you're talking about Lyra Valkyria, because for me, I feel Lyra Valkyria is going to definitely take the championship off of Becky Lynch. But and I'm just like, man, what do we do with Bailey? Do you feel like? Let me ask you here, because I love picking your brain here when we talk about wrestling. I feel like we both pick each other's brains when it comes to this kind of thing. Like, because we have conversations about wrestling, right? But do you feel like Bailey would benefit from a turn?
Mm, not right now.
Okay.
Not right now. I think that the way how she's moving right now, like I do feel like some people they can be right in the middle, teeter tottering, and I feel like for her personality right now, she could play both sides. Like right now, current state, because I want the belt. I want to take you out. I also don't want to be like this mischievous person, but I just want to do it my way. Like I think that for her, she doesn't need to be one side or another, but I can see her that's dead smack in the middle, and I think that will help her persona even more right now because I think with the direction that she's going in personally, I think that's just a good fit for her right now, just to be right in the middle how she is right now.
Okay. I do want to highlight my lovely co-host here. She said, especially based off the crowd tonight, there is a strong want for the audience to have a Bailey win, especially after her getting pulled from WrestleMania. From Mania, I'm sorry, it's WrestleMania, but I wanted to read it correctly, so forgive me, madam. But she also says here, I do want to say, yeah, she's very loved by the crowd. Just let her keep baby facing it up. And I'm assuming you're talking about Bailey, correct? Shay, sorry, just to make sure that we got this correct. Oh, I got this correctly. Um, but this was a great way to open the show, and I'm sorry, I had to touch my computer to do it. Forgive me, guys. I thought this was a great way to open up the show. I love that the crowd was feeling it, and I feel like with the crowd feeling it, the competitors felt it as well, and they delivered so well. All of them did. And I had Becky to go over here. Um, but this was a great way to open the show. I mean, it was a smart move. I didn't know what the placement was, and she says, "Yeah." Um, but this was a great way to open the show, and Becky Lynch retains. I look forward to talking about this match. And listen, you not even like you're on thin ice, but I want you to understand right now. Hold on, wait, give me a minute. Let's talk about the next match. You already know what next match is. You know what the next match is.
Hmm.
Right here. Look at this. The hold on, wait. Let me get this comment down right here. Shay Sawyer, I appreciate you being here. We love you. But we have the greatest women's NXT champion of all time, Jayne going against Jordan Disgrace. Um, I do want to give you the floor here first because I had to see you. Look, I do want to throw out here. Me and Rich Kings has been friends since third grade. We have been friends for a long period of time. But I want you to understand right now, you're on thin ice, buddy. What did you think about this match? And what do you think about? Matter of fact, no, I don't even want to ask that. I want to ask you this: what do you think about Jayne being the NXT Women's Champion?
All right, so her being NXT champion, I mean, good for her. I think that
You're saying some
you
good
know, you
stuff.
want to see the belt get passed around a little bit. I think that she. I'm gonna say she earned it, but you know, it
Uh,
was surprising when she won. So good for her. What makes you?
surprising.
Yeah, I was very surprised that she actually won the
I
belt.
was. I mean, I wasn't at all. Like
Yeah,
I knew she was gonna win.
well, take your glasses off. Sometimes you know you'll see something sometimes. But what I would say is this: I think that she like the match itself wasn't bad at all. What I did appreciate is that how
Gratitude.
is like obviously Jayne is a certain type of wrestler, right? And what do you call her? The disgrace.
Jordan
She
Disgrace. Yes.
yes, she's a powerhouse, right? So it's almost like remember when China was just so big and she's taking on the Ivories and the other people in the world. Like, what's going on here? Like, this should not. It should be China 10 times out of 10. But I do appreciate the fact that she got double crossed because first of all, I didn't understand why that other person's even there, right? The new girl coming in, why you even aligning yourself with her in the first place? So it was a perfect. Let me hit you in the back. Let's get this punch out, and then we're done with you, right? And I think it was good because of to protect Jacy Jane. I don't think that not saying when I say protect, I mean in a good way. Like
Mhm.
this other characters, like we were talking about this on the phone yesterday about monsters, right? So is she
Yes.
a female? Well, I put in that category as a female monster, right? And we were talking about Javon Evans versus Jasper, right? And I said
Yes. Yes.
sometimes the
Yes. Yes.
underdog needs to win. Like somebody small needs to win. There's no JC Jane had no business winning that match based off of what you see with your own two eyes, but the wrestling skills and the way how she was able to overcome made it make sense. So as a champion, I think she'll be a solid champion, but I felt the booking was correct in the way she won. Now if she just won straight up and clean, I'm not sure I can believe that. But like just the way how she won, and plus it's her character, she should be winning that way. So I agree. It was a good win for her.
I want to highlight the comments here because I see one Shay Sawyer. I think everyone was expecting Blake to turn, but not this soon. So I actually like. And here's the thing. I didn't expect Blake to turn tonight. I mean, I was hearing stuff, and if I can just plug this real quick here, me and Shay Soy, we did an episode audio podcast, and we gave predictions for Evolution, and we talked about all these other things about wrestling. It's almost like close to 2 hours. It's a fun show, so please check it out if you have an opportunity to do that. But I didn't expect that as well too. I didn't think she would turn tonight, so when she did it, and a lot of people were saying because you sometimes when you go through social media and stuff like that, they would say like a lot of people felt like she was cast wrong and she should be a heel. And when she did it, I was like, oh, that's great. I don't know what this means for Jordan Disgrace. Um, I'm gonna put this down a little bit. So you're new, not new here, but you've done a lot of review shows here. I'm gonna give a shout out to you because you are my guy. I always tell people how when we went to Las Vegas, you was the one who saw that the ginger ale was $9, and you said absolutely not. We're not paying for that. And I said I agree, even though I was sick, but I agreed with everything you said because no. But I want you to understand this. I want you to see this right now. You talked about Jayne. But you said, "Oh, I was surprised about all this stuff with JC Jane." Could I show you something real quick? A video?
Sure.
Here we go.
To Jacy motherfucking Jane. Yes,
I want everyone to see that. I was not surprised by this at all. Jacy Jane is the greatest women's NXT champion of all time, and like, look, I fear Shay. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I'm gonna say and tell you. She mentioned Oscar, and I was like, Oscar did some things. She did some cool things, but a lot of people do cool things. I do cool things all the time. But like, Jacy Jane, she dominated one Jordan disgrace. She beat her, and I love that for me. I love that for Jordan, Jacy Jane. And Jacy Jane, let me tell you about this. If I can throw this out here real quick. Jacy Jane is going to be at TNA Slammiversary. She's about to be two belt Jane, and I love that for her. And good job. And I think this is fantastic. Do you think this is fantastic, Rich Kings?
For JC Jane.
I don't like your tone.
No comment.
But this is great. Like everyone's surprised about these things. I'm never surprised because I'm always aware. I'm like, I mean, I think you know enough about Marvel to know about the Watcher, but like the Watcher learned from me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But I thought the match was fine. I do love that. Also, I do like that NXT got representation here. They had representation in 2018. Shayna Baszler, she went against Kairi Sane, and I think it's cool because here's the truth. Truth of the matter is this: not everyone watch NXT, so there's people who might have saw this match and say like, "Hey, maybe I should check out NXT." Because Jordan Grace, I make the jokes. I'm all for jokes here. I think it's there's all these wrestling podcasts and stuff like that, but I like jokes. But Jordan Grace is really really good at what she does. But when you see something about her being potentially called up to the main roster and on SmackDown, you're like, yeah, she's not winning that. I do think that there's going to be a match between her and Blake Monroe because, like, as you mentioned, I do like the breakdown that you said. Blake Monroe hit her with the belt. Michael Cole seemed like he was confused. Did you hear Michael Cole when he was like, was that on purpose? It was like, clearly it was. Clearly it was. But I do want to ask you this. I was asking one Shay Soy about this. I don't know how much of NXT you watch, so bear with me when I ask this. Do you see potentially Blake Monroe? Obviously, she turned right, but do you see her taking over Fatal Influence?
I can see that because I think like she's like this.
Mhm.
What did Jerry used to call it? A Jezebel, right? JR
No, JR, right?
back in the day, a Jezebel. So like, I do think that she has this aura about her,
Mhm.
and she needs to be like a leader. Like I look at her like how oh my
Mhm.
gosh, what is her name? Mandy.
Oh, Mandy Rose.
Yeah. Like how she was, right? Like she just was when she found her niche in NXT, she was just
Mhm.
zoom straight over there. And I think that's what something that Blake Monroe needs right now, or she will do right now, because how do you come in and make your name right now? What do you do? What can you do differently? And I think something like that is a nice stepping stone for her to keep it moving and go from there.
How do you feel like cuz she had a killing in AEW. She went
Mhm.
against Tony Storm and obviously she had a different name, but like she really kind of like crabbed her. Look, Marilyn Monroe. I mean Marilyn Monroe. I'm so sorry, Blake Monroe. She's done many other things outside of WWE. Um, and there was a question I had for you, and I'm so sorry because I'm blanking on it. But like she's done a lot of things outside of it, and like clearly they want to make her a big deal and stuff like that. And honestly, it's a good move. I mean, like I really don't have a dislike for her, but anytime anyone, you know how I feel about JC Jane. You know how I feel. Matter of fact, when she won the championship, what did you do? You hit me up and you said, "I know you're happy," and I said, "Yep." Oh, I do want to throw this out your way here. So, I know you don't. TNA was never really your brand here, but so I'm going to throw it out here anyway. Jacy Jayne is going to go against the TNA Knockouts Women's Champion and Slamversary next Sunday. I hope to get some tickets and go there. Um, do you think we actually get someone with double championship? It's every championship is on the line, the women and the Knockouts Championship. Do you think we get that?
I do think we get that. I think you get that because of
Mhm.
it's like they're building the credibility, right? And I don't know if you watch Great American Bash, right? With that guy being inside the stands, like how do you get more eyes on that, right?
Mhm.
They're doing the work right now, but a double champion also helps elevate that too. So I do think that when you think about branding and just advertising, how they want to do it, I think more commercial come out of it, more crossover can come out of it. Because at what point do you not do that? Right now is the perfect opportunity to do that right now. So I think it would happen.
How do you feel about? I mean, this is evolution. We're talking about women's wrestling, and we love that here on this brand. But like, how do you feel? If I can just ask you, because like we don't get to do a lot of shows together, but how do you feel about Trick Williams right now as the TNA champion? If you have any thoughts about it.
I love it. I think it keeps it relevant, right? So there's not enough belts to go around, and if he wasn't able to be on with him, what's the next biggest thing, right? So I appreciate the fact that they didn't say, "Hey, let's go for the North American Championship," or just go to SmackDown Raw and just do absolutely nothing. Like this is keeping him relevant. This is keeping him like feuding with other people for until he goes up to one of those other brands, right? So I do think for him and his persona is keeping him because he's not ready yet. In my estimation, I don't see. I don't know if I'm not seeing enough with Mello. What would I see with him, right? So that's how I'm looking at it as. So I think right now, as keeping it fresh and keeping him relevant, this is the best way to do it until someone else gets out of the way.
You know, it's funny because I did mention on one of the shows, forgive me, but like we had a conversation yesterday and we were talking about Jasper Troy. And I feel like, and if we can just, we'll sum it up real quick here because like we have a conversation about wrestling and we both have different opinions, but we always have this like fun conversation about it, right? Um, and I was just saying, like, hey, like, uh, the conversation pretty much from on my end was like, he's a big dude, and they seem like they have stock in him, but he needs to get some wins, and he lost to Javon Evans. But you was also mentioning like, hey, like it's okay for the underdog to win, which I never had no issue about Javon Evans taking the dub. I hope it never came off like I had an issue. I didn't, but it was just like at the same time, like you brought this guy in, and this guy so far the three matches that he's been in NXT, he has been losing a lot. You know, but something to your credit, you was like, and I'll give you the floor. I didn't mean to like take over, but something to your credit, you was like, with WWE, they like character, and you're like, what kind of character? Like, you want layers to your monsters. I want to say, I'm saying monsters because I feel like it's a conversation, but please take over.
No, no, I do feel that it depends on the character you have, momentum, who you are, like where do they actually see you going in the end of the day? And I think not everybody can win. Like we took exception to Naomi coming in and losing. Like when she just came back, did you just come back to lose? Like in the beginning when she first came. So not everybody's gonna come in and be booked to win over and over and over. Sometimes it's booked because of talent, and sometimes I want to see what you're made of. At the end of the day, so I do believe that when we're talking about that, I know we're about to get back into the women's evolution in a second, but I do
Please.
think that I will get offended if you just come in here and start with like earn your stripes. You just can't come in here just because you're a big guy and just win.
That's
So
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
look at like just look at some of the big guys that came in and how often do they get elevated to something that's actually a champion? It's not a long list.
No, that's fair. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure because we want to keep the order going. But we did have a sorry hiccups here. We had a fatal four way for the women's WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. We had Judgment Day defending against the Kabuki Warriors, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And NXT duo, we had Ruca and Zaria. Bro, I'm just the two-time women's tag team champions. I'm so sorry. Like I said, Alexa, and she went off. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but she's going off. But bro, what did you think about this match here?
Miss, I know you're not a big fan of throwing together tag teams and things of that nature,
You never,
but
bro. Hold on, wait. You never had like a favorite like. Apologies for interrupting, but you never had like a tag team that would put together and you was like, oh, like I didn't like this, but like okay, like I liked. So I hear what you're saying, but did you not like Head Cheese with Steve Blackman and Mouse
no,
Stone?
I did not. But I say I know you don't like that. I'm
No,
actually
I did.
no, I'm actually a fan of the diversity and bringing people. Like I said, at the end of the day, there's so much talent. What are you going to do? And I understand why they created those belts. Now, let me tell you this: this match was one of my favorite matches of the night because it
Wow.
it
Okay.
was, it was I would say it was the best, but it was one of my favorite personal favorites. Like I feel like there's always a story to be told from the beginning to the end, and the beginning for me was the entrance, right? So watching them all come out, the Kabuki Warriors. Then here comes like Ruga jumping over the other beastly woman. What's her name again?
Which one? I'm sorry.
Her tag partner. Ruga's tag partner.
Oh, Zaria. I'm sorry.
Zoria,
Okay.
there we go.
Okay.
I keep messing up her name. And then like here comes like the team I actually wanted to win, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. And I think like watching them come out and just the fans just like, yes, this is it. And then here comes Roxanne Perez and Raquel. Like it was like, okay, what are we gonna see here? Like I did not know what to expect. And what
Mhm.
I personally thought we got a treat. I think like there was some chemistry. There was great tag team moves, obviously in the beginning by the Kabuki Warriors. There was tags, hot tags in there when matches were getting thrown down. I just think that for a fatal four way thrown together pay per view match, right, as with no build up, it was great. I think there was chemistry with all four teams. I think there was so much action happening at different times. I thought was great. I actually was surprised by the ending. Like I really thought Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss was going to win this match. If you were to a preview show, that would have been my pick hands down because the momentum and the fans behind them. I do think they eventually will take those belts from them, but
I agree. I agree. I
this
agree.
for me, I don't want to contradict myself because I was saying this on last review, but with Raquel and Rhea Ripley, like she just looks better and better. This just shows like the dominance that she has, right, and the promise that she has.
When you said that, you mean you're talking about Raquel,
Yeah,
correct?
Raquel.
Okay. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
just
I
wanted
just
to.
think that she should be like booked differently personally, right? But I do appreciate how they're building her up, and I think like towards how the sequencing ending with the finishing moves, the pop rods, you have this coming in, then the match over here, somebody getting speared with the. I do like that team. I do love the teamwork. Like there was so much fast paced action happening, and I would say is that what I would say is this: it looked good for Raquel. That stand up choke slam, it was beautiful. One, two, three is over. Like it was just a great. To me, it was a great fatal four tag team match, and like I haven't seen one put on that well in a while.
I do want to highlight Shay Sawyer's comments here. She said she felt like Raquel did so good,
Yeah,
and she also said legend has it Rhea and Liv were pregnant with Zaria and Saruka when they were a tag team. I don't know that, but like she's fantastic. One Shay Sawyer, but she also said whoever created Judgment Day entrance song deserved 15 years to life in prison. I'm not kidding. Right, because like if I'm getting this right here when Shay Sawyer here is talking, like I heard the music and it actually took me a minute to realize like, oh, that's the Judgment Day. I don't know why.
the
I feel
theme
like they have
music.
like three different themes because like there's the on the other side and then there's this and I feel like this other theme that sometimes get played. And maybe I'm wrong about three, but like I kind of hear what Shay Sawyer is saying. But I'm sorry, did you have thoughts about this?
It sucks the life out of it. Like there was just it was the Kabuki Warriors. You got the entrance, boom. Then here comes Soruka and Xena, great, boom. Here comes Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Boom! Everybody's excited. You're the champion. You're supposed to either get boos, chairs, or whatever because everybody's seeing the whole
I
crowd.
had confusions, bro.
Yes, it's an energy sucker. It's like, what the hell is this? They might as well come out with no music. It would have been better. Like just come out, was walk to the ring, and ring it up. Like it does not do anything.
Nah, not you saying that they come out with no music. Like, just come out. Like, there's no music, no fanfare. Because, like, I would be confused. Like, I'm laughing at the no music one. I'm sorry. That was.
It's so we when the interest music plays, right? It's like an energy starter. I'm not saying this is what it's supposed to do, but for me, when I hear music play, all right, we're getting ready to go into the match. I would have been like,
Yes.
is this intermission music? Is this something that's stopping? Is this a commercial? Is not gravitating or wanting to make you get ready to watch the match. It's just not.
I'm sorry. I don't even know if I should highlight this, but I'm going to highlight this. Um, Shakespeare said. Oh, I thought I highlighted. I'm sorry. Let me hit this. She said midway through the entrance, I thought I was going to pass away.
And maybe that's what it's meant to sound like visually. It's
No,
supposed to.
the music is bad. Like it really is bad. Like I get what she would have loved to been on air, but she's right here joining us talking about this. So thank you for being here, One Shay Soya. I'm giving you a too sweet here, madam. But like, yeah, but she said Lily's silence would have been better. I totally. She agreed. She never agrees with anything I said, but like she agrees with you. Like I feel like I make some great points. I mean, did you not hear me talk about JC Jane? She's gonna ignore that all completely. But I mean, look, this match, I think all the women bust their ass here. I think there's a story here, and if I can talk about the stuff about NXT here, Zaria, this is the second time she has spared Ruca, so there's a story there for that. Um, and you talked about the stuff about Bliss, because I can't say the first name because this thing will go off. But you got Bliss and Flair. I do think they're definitely taking the strap off for Judgment Day. It wasn't for tonight, but
Listen, we're in
there we go.
July. Charlotte does not have a belt yet. That's going to change at SummerSlam.
You are correct. Absolutely, I agree. At SummerSlam, I do see her and Bliss taking the strap off of Judgment Day, and that's going to be a thing. So, um, I mean, right now, I think right now, I feel like, and when I say test run, please understand what I mean by test run. Please understand what I mean by this. Meaning, like a lot of times the crowd does not mess with Charlotte Flair. That's just the truth. But someone was pointing out because there's a lot of things I miss. Truthfully, that's just the truth. But they were like, "Yo, they are cheering for her."
They are.
I don't remember. So forgive me with this. I'm pretty sure someone can answer this. If you can answer this, cool. I can't think of a time where they were cheering for Charlotte Flair. I
Well,
just
they
can't.
cheered for her when she came back for the Royal Rumble, right? Like, because you're happy, like she's back. Like, so I think when you
But
get
it
that.
wasn't even that long, bro. Like, what was it for the entire like Rumble? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but like, was it for the
No, but
entire?
I think there was an appreciation when she came into the ring, and I think there was an appreciation when she won, and she talked about that and the post game. Like I didn't know how the fans were going to react to me, and when you honestly, when you're a lifetime heel, I think Triple H went through this in the beginning. Like, me and you talked about this before. Like he had to be like, leave me alone. So it got to a point where, like, when you come back and when people haven't seen you, it's excitement. Like wrestling fans, we know are fickle, and we want what we want when we want it. And she has just been. I think a lot of people just tired of Charlotte just winning. So I know we don't talk about AEW and all that, but Mercedes Monet is in dangerous territory. I love me some of her, but like
I
winning
love
and
her
winning.
too.
So like I actually was happy, and I'm a fan of hers. Happy she lost yesterday because it's like
Wow,
who
really?
wants to see like I'm not a fan of people just winning over and over and over. I think that's the only thing wrong with Charlotte. Is she in ring, amazing. She could handle her own. She could do whatever she wants. She can even talk on the mic. Yeah, even though there's some moments, but who doesn't have moments, right? But when you think about the total package, I mean, you're looking at it. I think people just get sick of her winning and winning and winning. And I think right now they have been very careful of making sure that happens. Because my point is this: we're in July and she has not had a belt. Like, when is the last time in the calendar year when she's been healthy? She has not had a belt for this long. Any type of belt.
I don't. When you ask that question, because you're talking about the timetable of everything, I don't have an answer for any of that stuff. But I hear what you're saying when you talk about like, because pretty much what you're saying is the way she's booked. I was just having this conversation with one Mark. One shout out to him because he did the Saturday Night Main Event with me yesterday. Um, but like and we were talking, and I was like, "Yo, like not for nothing, like I don't like how Charlotte is booked, but Charlotte is talented as fuck. Like for someone to say, because like the conversation I would hear with people, they'd be like, Charlotte is only here because of her last name. And I'm like, that's not even true. Like, realistically, it's not true. You're saying that because that's all you can lean on. Like, it's okay if you like, I'm not a fan of this person. I think that's fair. Like, that's okay. That's cool. But to sit here and go like this person's not talented, I think that's a you're blind as hell. So when we talk about Charlotte and I feel like that's what you was talking about. It's just the way that she might have been booked in a wrong
Mhm.
way. Now you said you, and I know like we have conversations a lot, right? Like, uh, and you talked about Mercedes not winning the AEW Women's Championship. I hear what you're saying. I would have loved for her to win just because the IWC is fucking annoying, and they would have been very upset, and I would have sat here and said. But I hear what you're saying, though. I hear what you're saying. Like, when you're booked in a certain way, and I'm going to hit the comment here because I see one Shay Sawyer in the comments. We see you, madam. Um, I hear what you're saying about that. So let me hit her comments here real quick. Here, she says, "I think I saw someone. I'm sorry, because I can read. I think I saw someone say this was the cheapest shoe ticket. I'm gonna say show ticket. Wise when real fans are in the building, they make it known." And she also
I'm gonna say
says,
this: coming from Atlanta, like living in Atlanta, getting the ticket wasn't too expensive, right?
"Mhm,
But to her point, that's perfect. The people that need to be there needed to be there, and the people that did not need to be there stayed their asses at home. It was, it did everything they needed for that. Like, I just don't think like that's. I think what also elevated this pay per view was that the fans, the people, those are real fans that actually give a damn to help
mhm."
carry those matches. Not saying they need to be carried, but they played a significant factor. There wasn't a match that the crowd was quiet.
No, I feel like the crowd was definitely they helped. I feel like they were the soundtrack, if that's a fair way of putting it.
Yeah.
Um, I and listen, not for nothing, because sometimes I feel like we've always seen a match where it was like, "Yo, this match is cooking." You guys don't realize it, but it's something about the audience when they contribute to it that makes it adds to it, if you will. Um, I want to sit here and highlight Shay Sawyer again. She said this was the best crowd of the years, hands down. This crowd, they really did. I mean, and I just go back to that first match, if you will, right? Um, that first match where, because even then, I feel like Bayley, Becky, and Lyra, they felt it. And I look at more of Becky because the way she does like this and stuff like that, it almost felt like she really felt it, you know. So shout out to this crowd out here at State Farm. And hopefully it is not another 7 years that they do a Evolution pay per view because I know you wanted to go. Um, and maybe like when they do it again, hopefully it's again next year. I would love to tag along with you, and maybe we're having a different kind of review show where we're making some kind of content about it, but we're outside. But the show was fun. We're not even done here. I do want to get to the next match here. We talked about the tag match. Judgment Day retained. Let's talk about this match here. We had Tiffany Stratton defending. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry because we have the graphics here. Give me a minute. We have this match here. We had Tiffany Stratton defending her WWE Championship against Women's Championship against Trish Stratus. I want to give you the floor here first. Here, before I give you the floor, can I just hit the comment here? We have one. He was there, the executive consultant. Christopher Harris. He says, "Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I would love to hear what your thoughts was on the show because you was there live. So please tell us what did you think about that." We have Shay Sawyer says, "Very fun show," and the executive consultant says, Give them that PLE of the year talk." I did chat with him a little bit before I did the show, and he seemed very excited about it. So please, uh, add your thoughts in here, executive consultant. Executive consultant, I do want. Can I take the floor here real quick, Rich Kings? I need to ask you one. I want you to look me in the face when I say this one. EC. Jayne was there. Did you cheer for her? Because if you didn't, suspend yourself for a week. I want you to sit there, no pay, no. I don't want to say bologna because not a lot of people eat bologna. What do people eat? Turkey. No turkey. I want to know what you did because if you didn't cheer for her, I don't want to hear nothing. I wish not to hear you. I wish to be Stevie Wonders and not hear you. So I need to know here. He did. Look at this right here. I did cheer for her. Thank you very much. Good job, executive consultant, because I was ready to write a letter. We got this. He says, when I saw Naomi cash in on EO and said, "Oh Lord, Tiffany reign of terror continues." But I do want to give you the floor here first. Rich Kings, I'm sorry, because I enjoy executive consultant expect a text. What do you think about this match about Tiffany Stratton? If I can just throw out here real quick, this match could have been advertised and booked so much better. I knew that these women were going to have a pretty solid match. I hate how it was advertised, but I want to give you the floor here first. Here, Rich Kings, what did you think about this match?
Yeah, the match is great. Growing up, Trish was my favorite. Trish, all these other people that's going on there. It was great to see Jazz and all these other people get shouted out in the crowd, right? But like Trish
Yes.
is just like she still performs better than some of the wrestlers we see current state today, which is ridiculous, right? And I think for her, she just has that in ring awareness. The match was great. She hit her moves with the chick hit, the Stratus faction, that everything that she has to her toolbox, she was able to do effortlessly, right? And I just think it was a great match. I think her and Tiffany complement each other. I think it was just really, really good to see them both throw down that match. It kind of was like I think this is one of Tiffany's best matches that she's had for a title defense, truthfully. And I think when you have like a partner in the ring like how Trish Stratus is, I think that just helped elevate her. Yes, I hear Shay Sawyer like yes, like we're not the biggest Tiffy time fans, but I would say like taking other bias out of it, I think she did a solid job performing in the match. There was so many different highlights in the match. I don't know where to even begin, but like I would say for her as a wrestler, I think she not only say needed Trish, but I think this just helped her with her just I guess style. It just meant so much. Like I said, Trish has so many different enemies in the past or different opponents. She just knew how to work really well with Tiff. I would say this. Goldberg, if you're watching, that's how a retired match should look. Goldberg, you tried last night. You really tried. But when you see someone goes out there and they put their all and they're actually performing and not out of breath after 2 minutes,
Oh man.
that's a retirement match. You bitch and moan for this.
I'm going
Current.
to tell you right now, I'm going to defend Bill Goldberg.
Oh no.
No, I'm joking. Um, I did want to throw out here real quick, but shout out to Bill Goldberg. I did say here last night and say because I'm not a Bill Goldberg. Listen, I would have loved for you to be on here last night because I remember us in '98 when he had his first loss. I mean, we looked at each other and said we prayed for this. That's really what we were like.
Meek Mill song, Dreams and Nightmares. These
Oh,
are
that's
crazy
the name of
times
the,
like this. That's it.
that's the name of the song. I am going to sleep at. What's the name of that song?
Dreams
Shay
and
Soy. Shay Soy, put that in the chat for me, please. Shay Soy, put that in the chat for me. But I do want to say and say this. I do love this. I love that you mentioned that, and forgive me because I didn't uh have this in my notes and everything like that. But I do love when you were talking about all the women, and they did get some eyes on them, Ivory, and um and I feel like it was just both of us, right? Where we were Jazz fans in 2001, 2002, right? And I remember one of the things that we liked. So for me, and I won't speak for you, so please, I want you to have the floor here. But for me, it was like, wrestling was real to me. So like, I didn't think about this is the work and all that stuff, but like I was like, yo, she has an intensity to her that is just like ridiculous, and I love that she was in that crowd and she got her flowers because I've always felt like Jazz deserved her flowers. Like I remember, and I feel like I said this a few times, but I'll say it again. And I have no shame saying it, but like I remember as a kid, I never understood why Trish couldn't beat Jazz. So when Jazz finally beat her, I was like, as she should. And I just think like Jazz is phenomenal. Um, I don't know how many times she held that women's championship. I want to say it was like 2 times. Uh, but I love that she was in the crowd and she got a reaction, and I love that she's in the WWE family again. Um, I just really love this for Jazz, and Ivory too. Like Ivory, I don't know if she was like out for a long period of time. I know they mentioned that she was at the first Evolution. I think of Ivory. I remember more of her stuff from Right to Censor. I know she did other stuff, but I remember that. And Molly Holly, and there was other women too that I wasn't super familiar with. I remember Jacqueline, obviously, and Melina. It was dope to see Melina out there. Like, it was a shame that they wasn't in the women's battle royal. I don't know if they couldn't do it. I'm not sure, but like I just love that these women here. One of the things I love about this pay per view is like they acknowledge women of the past because they deserve this recognition. I'm so sorry I pronounced that so wrong. Forgive me, guys, but they deserve their flowers. If I'm going to simplify that, but they deserve that, and I love that someone like Ivory and Jazz and Molly Holly was out there. It was so great. So I love that. I'm not, and I thank you for mentioning that, sir. Um, we were talking about what match were we talking about? Tiffany and Trish. Let me ask you, did you feel like Tiffany turned heel? Because I felt like Tiffany left the ring almost like after she beat Trish. Did you get that, or was that just me randomly booking anything?
No, I don't think she's turning out. This thing just got the hell up out of Dodge. Like, I think she was not trying to take up Trish's moment. I think that
Okay,
it left
okay.
something for her to like some kind of like appreciation for the fans. So I think like she acknowledged that, man, this girl was still got, let me get the hell up out of here. Like there wasn't a lot of showboating because she got taken to the limit. So I just saw it that way.
Okay. Okay, no, I'm glad that you was able to break it in a way because like the way she left, it came off hillish, but I just needed another air for that. So thank you for bringing that out in a way. Um, um, Shay Sawyer, she says that Mother Jazz. Jazz is, I think she's an actual mom actually. So yeah, she is a mother, and also I mean obviously she agrees with what you said. Um, was hoping for a surprise in the back. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I feel like, and we're going to talk about that, but I agree with you about that, even though you don't agree on anything I say, because look at this. I agree with Rich Kings. You, sir, this is why I say you are the smartest man in the room, even though I am sitting right here. You laughed. I don't know what's so funny. I solved what 1 plus 1 is. But let's get to the next match here. I want to make sure I got this. Okay, cool. Jade Cargill going against Naomi with Bianca Belair as the ref. I was trying to see if we have the. I have to touch my computer here, guys, for the graphic here. But yes, this is the match. Jade Cargill against Naomi. I'm not gonna hold you. Obviously, I don't have where Bianca is the ref here, but Bianca is the ref. If I could just throw out here real quick here, I had Naomi winning. Obviously, I was wrong, and we'll talk about later in the match. But like when Naomi lost, can I put a picture on how I felt when Naomi lost? This is my son. This is how I felt at first. I just want to put a picture of my cat. I love my cat. Mr. Cat, I don't know where he's at, but I just wanted to put a picture of him because I love my son. But I was surprised by this. So if I could throw out here the floor real quick, right? Um, my thought process about this was something would happen, Jade would get pinned, and it was set up between Jade and Bianca, and we didn't get any of that. So this match was fine, but like I felt like there was not enough. And when I say controversy, there was not enough like conflict, if you will. How did you feel about this match, Rich Kings?
Like the match was good enough, right? I do feel like I love that Naomi that was really offensive in this match, and she really took it to Jade, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
One thing I like was the series where she went through a table, she got the little, well, it's still called the X Factor, on a chair, and she kicked out. Interesting. So then you get put through a table and all man 1, 2, 3. Like what the fuck was that? So I was a little irritated with that. What also got me like, I don't. The reason why I think the match was more of a letdown because Bianca didn't do anything. So I felt we might as well just had a
Right.
regular referee there because you were just useless. And then what also I thought was, listening to Wayne Barrett in the beginning, right? So he was like, here comes the EST coming in the ring, but she, her history as a referee we saw earlier this year, she was the WORST worst because she impacted WrestleMania, right, with her decisions. So I'm thinking that's going to be a tease for her to do something. And what she was doing was she was a care doll. She was just caring for everybody. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? What about you over there? You in the black? Are you okay? Like what the fuck? Like stop. I just was letting down. I honestly think Naomi should have won that match.
I would
So
have loved that. I mean, obviously later on, and we'll talk about that later. But like, I'm with you where I was like, "What are we doing?" Like, I was watching this, um, and someone was like, "Yo, like, I don't want to use that word, but like buried." And I'm like, I don't think it's buried, but it does. It sucks. It sucks. Like, it really did. It sucked because like I feel like Ny I'm sorry, I had to scratch my ear here, but like Naomi definitely deserved to get a W because at some point you're like, okay, she did all this stuff, but and what? And we'll talk about that later, obviously. But like, yeah, I was with you with that where it was like
on one
kind of
spot I did like was that drop kick she gave to her, which was next to the next to the table and the screen got knocked out with all the smoke. I loved it. Like
oh you
she
like
just did so much different things for her to win the match, and I guess not. I guess not.
let's talk about this battle royal. I don't have a graphic for this, but um Stephanie Vaquer gets the dub here. There was a lot of women here, so like
Mm.
I do kind of have a list here about it. Give me a second here, please, if you do not mind. Give me a minute. No, that's not. Maybe I deleted it. But Stephanie Vaquer, Julia. You had Chelsea Green and her crew. There was a lot of people, but there was really no surprises in this match, and I do think that took away from the. Like I don't know if Lita's hurt, but I was thinking like maybe Lita shows up for this. Maybe we have all these other women, that might show up, but like no. We had some women from NXT. We had Jade Parker. We had Lash Legend. I do want to give a shout out to Lash Legend. I do like that she was the last two in this match. I did think, and if you listen to the audio podcast where one me and Shay Sawyer, I did say, hey, I think Nikki Bella is in like in the final four, and I was correct about that. Now she didn't win. Who else we had? Her, Stephanie, Nikki, and we had. I feel like I said Lash. I'm hoping I said Lash. But like like this was fine. It was a battle royal, and you had these women, and they went out there, and I think they did a solid job. But like, dude, I'm probably missing something on here. But what did you think about this match? One Rich Game.
I mean, going into it, I thought that Stephanie Vaquer was going to win the match. I mean, I just didn't see. a different option at this point. So I was glad to see that was how they went. They went with the. I want to say I think a lot of times when we have these kind of matches, the obvious choice doesn't win, but the obvious choice won this match, right? And it was great to see her and Last Legend be the last two. Like so up and coming. Listen, we see you got next, and yeah, eliminated. Yeah, you got next. Just so poetic there. So I think that the Battle Royale it served its justice. I think it went on longer than I anticipated. Like I did not anticipate it to last that long.
Mhm.
But there was like Nia Jax is I think she's one of the most funniest women entertainers. Like when she walked in the ring and then she looked at that poster about Nikki Bella, she just stared at it just like anyway. And then like she did that little taunt, the side whatever that thing that Nikki Bella does. And she's just great. I understand why she did not win because listen, you got too many chances already. But like just having her in that ring just brings some comedy relief, and I think that long story short, no surprise, the person that won should have won, and it's great to see Lash Legend getting some eyes on her and some respect.
I think Last Legend. Do you see? If I can ask you this question here, sir, because it's always fun picking your brain with wrestling. Do you see her being called up to the main roster?
No, I see her being Jacy Jayne.
You see her being the one to dethrone Jacy Jayne?
Yes.
If I can ask, because I'm just interested by it because I don't see that. I see Blake Monroe, but why do you see her?
I think when you try to get some things to cook, right? And I think WWE likes to do a lot of prequels or just warming up, right? I think they're gonna let some of these things pass along, and then when I think it's getting closer to War Games, I think that's the time for her to really like make something shake, make something happen. So I do think like I just foresee her being the one to take her out.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm just saying because that's such a interesting. Like when I heard it, I mean, it was like, yeah, like it's so interesting. So okay, cool. Like, and not to say and say you're wrong because you might be onto some. Look, just a lot of people who didn't think JC was going to beat Stephanie Vaquer. I mean, I knew, but like, but nonetheless, like, shout out to my co-host here because you see him go like, okay. He knew. He knew when JC Jane won the NXT Women's Championship. I got a lot of congratulations, even though I had nothing to do with her success. But I love that people think of me with this. But shout out to JC Jane, the great. Do you think JC Jane is the greatest NXT Women's Champion?
No.
I don't want to have this conversation at all. Let's move on to the finale of this show because that was rude. I do want to sit there and say we're gonna run it back for Las Vegas next year, right, my guy?
We are, we are.
I'm hoping to have at least a dollar or two so I can sit. We had a good time in Vegas. I do want to shout Rich Kings because I was dying in Las Vegas because I was sick. And Rich King said, "Why don't you have some ginger ale?" And Bro said, "Yo, what was that ginger ale? It was like $9, right?"
For a small can. A mini.
See, I always tell the story, but I feel like no one believes me. But I'm glad that you was able to be like, because I remember you approached me and you said, "I'm not buying that." And I was like, "Why?" Because I'm sick, right? I'm like, "Why?" And he said, "It's $9." I said, "I'd rather just lay here and just fall asleep." But we did get to do this year. We get to do Stand and Deliver. That was dope, right? And we did night one of WrestleMania. I know we don't know what SummerSlam is looking like from night one and two, but is there anything like if you had a prediction? Is there anything that if it? I'm sorry, prediction. I know you have no idea what night one and two is, but what is your thoughts about night one and two of SummerSlam? Like if you had to opportunity to go for night one and two, what's your night choice?
I'm probably saying that too. Because we get Roman return, I feel like.
Mhm. How cool was it? I mean, we're gonna get into the main event here of Evolution, but how cool was it that we was able to see night one WrestleMania, and we got to see a Roman Reign match live.
It was great.
That was cool, right?
It was great. Like
That was,
I like that guy. That guy
mm.
that guy's the guy.
How do you feel about Solo Sequoia? Because I know we don't get a chance to chat all the time, but how do you feel about Solo Sequoia leading his crew of like his version of the Bloodline?
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's just the thing is we compare it to the original. So you compare things to the original, it's not going to be good. So what he's doing right now is serviceable. I think him as an individual talent is funny. I think he's a great character.
Yes, 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 yes.
I don't think he needs them like that anymore. But I think they just want to keep the bloodline going. I think if he was by himself, he would be better off than being with Judgment. Not Judgment. The bloodline.
Bloodline. So when you say by himself, like, and I'm just curious on how you would book him. Is he being a funny guy or is he super serious? Like,
No, funny mid card that's going to make his way up to the top. Like his name is Solo
so cool.
Sequoia. There's no solo in Solo Sequoia right now. It's solo and friends, solo and family. So it's not doing anything for me. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's talk about. Honestly, that's a fair point because like his name is Solo. Meanwhile, he had friends, right? I'm so sorry. That's a fair point, sir. Talk about this main event here. We had this is the main event here. We had Io Shirai defending her women's world championship against Rhea Ripley. I'm going to give you the floor here first, sir. What do you think about this match? I know we're going to talk about the cash in, but please take the floor.
yeah, but even before the cash in, the match was like amazing, like 5-star match. It was really, 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 really good. Like lots of near falls, lots of action. In the beginning, I kind of suffered off like, what are we doing? A little bit in the beginning, I was a little worried, but after they had that, listen, I respect you, let's go, and it was just magic, right? Like they just got that out the way, and then it was just like action, 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 action. The referee, rolls out the ring. She's injured. She gets her finishing move, but she took to her credit. Let's take this outside. Let's fight some more, right? We're not gonna pull call down for a referee coming out and do all this foolishness, right? It was just nonstop action from the beginning to the end. I love the crossbody from the top of I don't know they said like 20 feet for her. She was up there. That was just perfect landing with that thing. It didn't seem like it was botched. It was just the energy and from the crowd. Like this was awesome. I think that they just did a good job showcasing what's going on. Now I would say this. I'm not a big fan of Naomi's music because I have no idea what's going on with the TV blasted off. I'm like, what is this? Like some of the themes that don't do anything for me. That does nothing for me. It's just what was that? Like noise? So it's that was just the whole sequence of that, which is great. And I was worried. I thought she was going to lose her cash in. Like a little part of me was a little worried that she might be the one to not have a successful cash in. But I'm so happy that she cashed in. It was just a perfect moment. It was just everything that she's doing right now. It just made the most sense. And I think that she stole the show. And I think that we think about her road that she was on, and I know that we're just talking about that main event, but I think it was a perfect time for Io Sky to lose. Like you had a belt long enough, in my opinion. Moving on, and I can't wait to see what Naomi does with this different talent on Raw. Like when's the last time we seen Naomi on Raw?
No, it's been a minute. Like, I do want to say and say, like, I did not expect her to cash in. So my thought process is, and I feel like a lot of people had this thought process. I feel like even before we start the show, we had a conversation about this. So please correct me if I'm wrong. Please, please. Um, I thought that she was going to cash in on Jay just to ruin her life. So when she did it, and you hear the music, or whatever that thing is going on here, because the music was not good. I do agree. Like the music is like, I love what she's doing. I do like some people feel like her heel work is cheesy and all that stuff, but I love it. Proceed with caution. Like okay, that's cheesy, but like I fucks with that. Um, but I didn't see this coming at all. Like I immediately was like, "Whoa!" And I hear what you're saying. Where there was this small fear of like maybe things don't go right. But I do. You know what I liked about this? There's a few things. One, Naomi is a women's champion, and I feel like she's deserved it. She came back last year, and it felt like it's cool that she's back, but it was like almost like she wasn't being rewarded. And I love that she's being rewarded. But here's another thing too. it continues this story here where Rhea cannot beat Io, and I love that. And one of the things, in the prediction show, I mean not prediction show, but we had an audio. Shout out to Moshe Sawyer. We were chatting about it, and we were talking. And I was like, I don't want Rhea to win. I had Rhea winning, truthfully, but like I love this story where it's like Rhea has never beat Io. I love that. Maybe I'm on my own on that, and that's fine. But I love that where it's just like, man, like every time it seems so close, and it seemed like I know this girl and she's predictable and all this stuff, whatever how you want to word it. We have never beaten this girl, and I love that so much. So, what's the story with her, Naomi being women's champion? I don't know, but I look forward to seeing what Monday Night Raw looking like because now she's on Raw. Same thing with LA Knight because you was mentioning before he's in a Fatal Five Way. I forget who the other four was, but I love that.
It's him, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, and Penta.
Oh, Penta. Okay, yeah, and I think that's I love. I feel like it's a silent. Sorry, hiccups here, guys. But I love that. I feel like it's a silent move where he's now on Raw talking about LA Knight. So, and I think LA Knight. How do you feel about LA Knight being on Raw? You think that's a good move?
Yeah, I mean, what else can he do on SmackDown? I think it's time for a change.
If I can highlight this real quick. Once they said, "What company Sawyer? I mean Sequoia." The match is my the match. I'm sorry. That match is my match of the year for the women. It's officially dethroned Tony for Mariah May. We also got Shay says, agreed. Her entrance music just doesn't do it for me. Talking about you, and she also says, right. I love them continue the Rhea Io thing, but her still not beating Io. That was for me. For me, and I spoke with one Shay Sorry about this, but like I've always loved the story about I look, and this about me. I was a WCW kid growing up, and then eventually with WWF, right? But like I was never an ECW kid, and I feel like that's the same with you, sir. Um, but the story about and a documentary, DCW Rise and Fall. You guys can check it out. It's a really good documentary. But I did love the story about Tommy Dreamer never not knowing Raven's moves. Like Raven would beat this dude every chance he got, and obviously Tommy Dreamer beat him twice. ECW, and I know from Monday Night Raw one time he beat him, and this was before I knew the arc and the story and all that stuff. But I think stuff like that is so cool. Where I feel like I don't know if you feel this way. I'm sorry, I had an itch, but I don't know if you feel this way, Rich Kings. But like I feel like we've seen a lot of people and they compete with each other, but I think it's cool when there's someone who just can never beat this one guy. I personally like that. How do you feel
I
about
like
that?
it unless it's The Rock losing to Stone Cold Steve Austin all those WrestleManias, but he just needed to be Hollywood Rock to win.
Right, you guys got to remember this, or you guys got to know this. When me and Rich Kings growing up, he was a who's number one for you, Rock or Shawn Michaels? Because I know
Shawn
you're a Shawn
Michaels and The Rock.
Shawn Michaels then the Rock. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I know he was a big Rock guy. So when Stone Cold would beat the Rock, I remember you were like, "Whoa, what are we doing?" So sorry. I get you because that's how I felt about when the Rock would lose to the Rock would beat Chris Jericho. That's how I felt. So I hear you. Um, but that's really the show. But I think Evolution was a success. I hope that it's not another 7 years that they do something like this. I would love for them to do this yearly. I think if I could just throw us out here, and I'm not just trying to talk shit and stuff like that, but like women's wrestling is dope. It's fantastic. Um, and wrestling in general has evolved, especially in women. They were talking about women. What was that called? Bra and panties, and we haven't seen something like that in I don't know how long. Uh, I love that women are out there and they are outshining the men, and I would love for another evolution, and I would love to review that with you next year if there's another evolution, sir. So, because I feel like we're both, and I don't want to speak for you, but I want to say and say women's wrestling is dope as hell, man. Like if you said like I don't know if this is my necessarily my favorite women's wrestling match of all time, but I want to give a shout out to one Mercedes Monet and Bayley. They had that match almost 10 years ago, and they delivered. And a lot of women have saw that match and they were like, "Oh, I want to become a professional wrestler." So shout out to women's wrestling. I think it's dope. It's great. Do you have any thoughts and anything you want to add to this?
No, I think it's great. I think I like how they have come with the star power, equal opportunity. There's people. They pretty much showed the majority of the women roster. I think that was the purpose of not having any legend wrestlers inside the battle royale. Want to keep it current because this is the current roster. Because let's say if Lita was in there, she won the match. Do we really think she's beating one of those people? I don't think anybody thought Trish was going to beat Tiffany Stratton. So it's almost like for what, right? So I do think that I appreciate the fact that they're staying current and they're paying tribute to their current roster. And excited to see what happens next year and the rest of this year.
Absolutely, and I look forward to doing more review shows with you. I mean, we talked about a particular project, and we look forward to doing that. Rich Kings, I want to say, man, like you are my best friend. We've been friends since third grade, and I appreciate you being on here with me talking about this thing called professional wrestling, women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is fantastic. I know that. This was a fun show. I will sit here and say this was a fun show. Let's not wait another 7 years to talk about this. Look, was there things better than others? Absolutely, for sure. But like, I want to sit here and say these women kicked ass, and shout out to them. And shout out to Moshe Sawyer. She says, "Great show as always. Wish you was here, madam. But um, the next Evolution show, I know you will be on be involved. So we look forward to you being here. So thank you for being here, Monshe Sawyer. You are fantastic. Rich Kings, throw it too sweet for her, please. There we go. We
Go.
too sweet. That was for you, madam. But the show was fun. It was great. These women kicked ass. Thank you to the women on the show. But I do. Can I just throw out one more thing? One Rich Kings.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To Jacy motherfucking Jayne. Yes,
I will abuse the hell out of that every chance. Rich Kings. I always ask everyone where can people be found. I'm gonna still ask you every chance I get, sir. Where can people can find you?
Here on the Big Pop Theory podcast. There.
Yes, sir. We are going to do. We have a side project. We're going to make it a thing. I look forward to reviewing it with you, sir. And we're going to have a great time. This guy. I'm sorry, I got to do this. Look at this guy. This guy is just he have a full fledged of teeth. This guy's handsome. Like I'm happy to do the show with you because we know we have a lot of conversation. We were talking about Great American Bash. You watched Great American Bash. So real quick, what was your match of the night for Great American Bash?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Um, I wasn't a big fan of Great American Bash, to be honest with you.
Mm.
So I would have to say, damn, I'm thinking about it. I'll continue my favorite moment. I don't think I have a favorite match, to be honest with you. I think everything
That's
was.
that's that's fair. What was your favorite moment? That's
I
cool.
think when Dark Strike came in and they attacked.
Who did they attack?
Oh
I
my
didn't even
god,
see that. Who did they attack?
they attacked Oh my gosh. Who? Hold on.
Um was it Javon Evans?
No. It was like a second or third match. It just came out of nowhere. I just attacked them. I was like, attacked them. I loved it. Oh my gosh. I mean, I have to look it up.
Are you a fan of Dark State?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I like them. I like
I know
Lucky
there's
Ali.
one of the members. What's his name?
Well, I knew him as Lucky Ali. He goes by something else now.
Okay. Well, you know
Uh,
what?
hold on. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Sure,
The
please.
match. All right, I did like the Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks match. I think he attacked Ricky. He attacked Ricky, I think.
Oh, you talking about Jasper?
No, Darcy.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I
okay.
think they attacked Ricky.
No, because I saw a clip and I don't know if it contributed to the finish, but something about Ricky he bumped into Jasper and Jasper beat the hell out of Ricky, and I was surprised because I thought Ricky was going to take the title off.
No. Sorry, no, it wasn't that. Sorry, now I remember what happened. It
Mhm.
was the contract signing, and they put Trick Williams through a table, and Darcy came in and beat up.
Oh, Joe Henry and
Yes, that's what it
okay.
was. I said they did something, and I was just like, yes. I think they knocked out Santana got that power bomb.
Oh, really? Okay, because I didn't
That's
see
what it
that.
was.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
know that it wasn't Ricky because I felt like after Ricky got the Eagles edge through the table, it was over after that. So I was trying to think what happened. I'm like, no, it was the Trick Williams segment.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And you know what? Maybe one day we will review a NXT show together because that would be fantastic.
Yes,
Um, and when we review it, I do want to throw out Jacy. She's going to be going to TNA, and it's a. I'll throw this out here to you, and I feel like maybe I asked this earlier, but I will still ask again. Do you think when we have a winner take all match, it's the NXT Women's Champion against the Knockout? Do you think we actually get a finish here?
I do. I do. I think it'll be a fair finish. Can't wait to see it.
I look forward to that as well. But this is the Big Pop Theory podcast, guys. You can follow us on Instagram. It's the Big Pop Theory podcast. The Big Pop underscore on X, Twitter, however you want to call it. We are also on the Big Pop Theory podcast on TikTok and on YouTube. Right now, you are watching us on YouTube because that is the only way you can catch us. Me and Rich Kings, we talked about some side projects, and we look forward to kind of get some content going on here. Um, I do want to give a shout out to Rich Kings. Thank you for being here. I want to give a shout out to Mark Wins. He was out here with me last night to talk about Saturday Night Main Event. And I'm going to give a shout out to one Shay Sawyer. We did the audio podcast earlier in the day, so please check that out here. We wanted to talk about Evolution. Um, and like, there's so much content going on here. There was so much wrestling going on. There was the Great American Bash. There was All In. There was Saturday Night Main Event. So much wrestling. It's a lot of wrestling. But thank you guys for giving us a watch. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all that stuff. It's great. We're gonna have some content going forward. And with all that said, we're gonna give you a we'll give it too sweet. Give it too sweet, sir. Just put the hands up. I'm sorry. Put the hands. Boom. And we'll see you guys for the next review show.